everybody, welcome back to The Void. I'm Saint Envious, and we're here today with another art tutorial. I know it's been a hot minute, but we are finally getting back into it as a 1K subscriber. Thank you! Although I've waited so long to make this now that it's almost at 2K. Thank you all so much for being so patient and also subscribing. It really means a lot. We're gonna go ahead and get right into this today, because a couple months ago I also did another poll on my Ko-fi, if you check that out, where we decided this tutorial was going to be about drawing expressions. Now, when we're talking facial expressions, we're really focusing in on a few key features of the face. And that is going to be your eyebrows, the eyes, and the mouth. These are the three most important things on a face. So we're going to move step by step and see how changing each of these individual things can really switch up the entire expression that you're conveying in your character. So eyebrows, I think, are the most straightforward of these to change up. You really just want to make sure you're keeping the same consistent shape of the original eyebrow to stay true to your character design. I find eyebrows are interesting to work on, especially when you start including the creases around the face as the skin on the face is moved around with the expression. The more creases and things you use, typically the more intense the expression. So you see here we have 4 different new eyebrows, all of which include a crease around that top bridge of the nose, or the skin right above it on the forehead. 4 new expressions created here, even though I haven't changed anything else on the face yet. So we're going to the mouth next, because I think it is the next most complex of them. A mouth is very versatile, and especially if you do a more stylized version of it, you can have its shape really help sell the mood or tone. A much simpler mouth, I really suggest moving around, especially if you are having trouble getting the right mouth for the specific expression you're looking for. And even when you do get that line, moving the mouth around the face also implies different emotions. Mouths can be very expressive on a character. So again, we have the same set of heads here, all different mouths. Starting to look a little goofier with each of the changes that we haven't made and the new changes we have made, but we'll see how that all comes together after this next piece when we talk about the eyes, which I think are if you have to get anything right, you really got to get the eyes right. You've seen characters before where they just cover up the mouth and things like that, but the eyes, you gotta really sell those. And there's a few pieces of the eyes that I think are very important. The first being the direction the eyes are looking at. The direction tells you what they are interested in, what they're actually focused on. If you want to show their attention is on something, or very specifically not on something, the direction of those eyes are very important. The next most important part of the eyes is the actual pupils. The pupil in the center of the eye, how much of that you're seeing can show the interest or presentness of the character. The more relaxed, half-lidded look shows very detached emotions, or kind of in their own head, versus the wide-open eye and having it be very alert and directly looking at something. And the most extreme version of that is when you just have the little cartoon eyes kind of darting around very nervously. And of course, there's always the option of the closed eyes. And there are the 2 different versions of the lid dipping down into the bowl, or the lid lipping up like a dome. You can get some nice emotions in those closed eyes. So now we are combining some of the elements we've done before here. I went ahead and cleaned some of these up, added some of the different eyebrows and the different eye expressions and the different mouths together to create new emotions. And the last thing I want to note is that you can add little bits to a character to help sell their emotions even more. So we already talked about the extra little folds that you would note in an actual expression, like around the bridge of the nose. You can also add in extra little cartoony effects, like these little angry veins, which are useful for getting emotions, which are useful for getting anger across. And if you want to push it even further, you could have that lower lid kind of pulled up and showing. So we went from a general cocky expression to this is somebody who is very annoyed with you, and we only added 4 or 5 lines. That's the difference that these things can make. So next you can see we have more or less tired expression, just kind of quiet, looking away. For this one, we're just going to add some of the lower eyelids just below. See how that looks. And you can immediately see we get a change in the expression here, where it almost looks pained. Depending on the context of the greater story you're telling, you could also imply something like guilt here, but again, it's just another couple lines that really help add a whole nother dimension to this expression. The next change I want to point out is the use of other character design elements you've already put in your character to really help sell an expression. This would be things like your little wayward hair strands that get really crazy when they get really flustered. Ears, especially if you do like long pointed ears like I usually do, you can move those around to really change up an expression. Down for where down is suspicious or frightened, or down tends to be like the more negative emotions or like an overwhelmed kind of sensation, but up can be excited and interested and engaged, surprised, as well as never forgetting to add that fun blush. Gotta add some blush. But here we start with the same like wide eye expression, and we add some lines beneath, and then some more lines, and we can really turn him from just surprised to terrified, and it didn't take much at all. For this last one, we have him starting out kind of generally confused, just a little perplexed, and then going into like a questioning. Like instead of just confused, we push it a little further to questioning, which I always recommend having a step up, another step to the specific emotion you're currently dealing with. And of course there's lots more tips I have, like overall body language, the difference between being opened versus closed. There are even more things you can add to characters like tails, tears, sweat. Their hands, of course, are very expressive. All of these things I'll probably cover in another video, but this is a good way to go ahead and get you started. Using this single head base doll and changing things around is a great way to just learn different expressions. I also recommend using thesauruses or a website like called Word Hippo to see other words that are similar to words you're thinking about, seeing if you could find another word that like pushes that idea further of just like, it's not just happy, it is jubilant, or it's not just sadness, it is sorrow. So finding the correct wordage that you're looking for. I do think an expanded vocabulary and like almost like emotional intelligence is very useful for when you're drawing expressions. But that is going to cut it for me today, y'all. I really hope you found this useful. If you go out and you use some of these tips and try playing around with expressions now, absolutely tag me. I'm on various social things. But thank you again so much for subscribing and following, and I'm so excited everyone's enjoying the animatics so much. I've always been so worried about people not liking my little OC babies, but they would be very happy to know that you all are enjoying the content as much as I am enjoying making it. Well, thanks for stopping by The Void today. I really appreciate it. I'm Saint Envious, the patron saint of side-eye today. Y'all have a good one.